My maid of honor's emotions were all over the place during my bachelorette party, sometimes ice cold and other times a ball of sunshine, and now I'm not sure if she's the one I want to be standing by my side on my special day. I, 25F, had my bachelorette party this weekend with my maid of honor, 26F, and 5 other bridesmaids. The maid of honor made several rude comments toward me, and at times toward other girls, in front of the whole group. I'm feeling hurt and nervous about how to handle it. For context, MOH and I have been best friends since college, about 6 years, much longer than I've known my other bridesmaids. I chose her as my Mo because we've been friends for so long and she's like a sister to me. As part of her role as Mo, she was in charge of planning the trip, but about 2 weeks before, several bridesmaids told me they hadn't received any info yet and were getting worried. I called Mo to check in and realized close to nothing had been planned. I figured she must be stressed out and needed support but was nervous about asking for it. So I suggested pairing her with another bridesmaid who's really good at trip planning to help. She seemed totally fine with this. Bridesmaid took charge of planning the key activities during the day while Mo planned everything else like where to eat and having a movie night. Fast forward to the trip. Mo was really excited about the decorations she bought. She wanted to deck out the Airbnb with decorations so that I could walk into a big surprise. She made it clear that she wanted to set up all the decorations alone. She said it would stress her out more to have other people trying to help. I asked if she was sure. She was, and we all respected her choice. We all had a much longer drive, so we were going to be getting there later anyways. Unfortunately, one of her big decorations didn't turn out as planned, and she was really upset about it. I really felt for her because I know I'd be upset too if I was in her shoes. So when I got there, I hyped up everything she did and told her that it all looked amazing, but I don't think it cheered her up that much. The next morning, she seemed to be feeling better, and we had a really sweet moment getting ready together. She even helped me do my hair and clip in my bridal bow, which was really sweet. But then at brunch, things got weird and uncomfortable for everyone. Mo and another bridesmaid were showing each other music, and I playfully recommended a song because me and another bridesmaid were joking around about it the night before. When I asked her what she thought, she very bluntly went, "I didn't like it." I laughed and said, that was so rude." In a playful way to gently call her out while not making it awkward, but she just doubled down, "I'm not being rude. I just don't listen to stuff like that." It was awkward and I was really hurt by her tone, but I let it go. But then, while I was mid-conversation with other bridesmaids, she interrupted to tell me that another girl also didn't like the song. At that point, I was just like, well, at least that was a little nicer. She doubled down again, insisting that she wasn't being rude, and I just said okay. And turned back around. The rest of the trip, her mood was all over the place. Sometimes we were fine, other times she was distant. One night, while we were all hanging out and watching a movie, she just went to her room without saying anything. I went to go check on her before going to bed, but she looked like she was asleep and I had a killer headache from all the day drinking, so I just went to bed. The next morning, she was clearly in a mood again. At one point, she was asking if I wanted some plastic wine glasses we got from a winery. I said I wasn't sure but would take them if no one else wanted them, and she coldly said, "You said you wanted them." I never said this. I was kind of thrown off and said that I was just excited they were free but didn't say I wanted them, but she just goes, "Dude, if you don't want them, just throw them away." It was so weird and tense, and the other girls who were in the room were just silent and visibly uncomfortable. When we were all saying goodbye before leaving the Airbnb, I hugged her, thanked her for everything, and told her I had a great time, but she just kind of went thanks. It felt off. But I didn't really know what to say, so I just kinda left it at that. One of the bridesmaids later brought it up to me, saying she was uncomfortable with how Mo treated me and that she seemed rude to others too, like when she was loudly making fun of one of the girls for how she put her bow on. There's a few other things that happened that made me and the girls uncomfortable, but this post is already super long, so I won't get into it. I'm super anxious about this situation, but I feel like I need to talk to her. I'm thinking of asking her for a phone call and asking if something was going on that she wasn't telling me. Then, after hearing her out, I tell her that I felt hurt and embarrassed by how she treated me in front of everyone and that I don't think friends should talk to each other like that. I also want to make it clear that this can't happen on my wedding day. Is the phone call a good idea? How do I ask for it? And how can I communicate to Mo how I feel and my expectations going forward without making things worse? Update. After my last post, I reached out to my Mo through text asking if she was free to talk on the phone after work. Important background info. Mo and I had an agreement in our friendship that we'd let the other person know if they did anything that was hurtful or offensive and to not bottle things up. This was mainly to reassure me because while Mo was very quick to bring things up and ask for apologies, I am more conflict averse. This is important for later. Mo calls me after work and I start off by saying I felt some tension between us during the trip and wanted to ask if something was going on that I didn't know about. She immediately brought up brunch, saying I was condescending and embarrassed her. I told her I understood and apologized. Then, I brought up my own feelings about that same interaction and the way she spoke to me the last morning. She asks what exactly she did the last morning. So I gently explain the interaction with the wine glasses and how it made me feel. She insists I did say I wanted them. When I try to de-escalate, she cuts me off and is like, "No, Op, you did say that. You were just too drunk off your fudging butt to remember. You asked me to hold the wine glasses for you and I asked, other bridesmaid, what to do with them and she said that she thinks you want them." For context, I was not too drunk to remember. This happened at the second vineyard we went to a total of 3. And I had only done one wine tasting and shared a second with 2 other girls at that point. So the total amount of wine I had by then was equal to about 1.5 glasses of wine. I may be a lightweight, but I am not that light. I was definitely happy and bubbly, but my memory was fine. Regardless, I repeat to Mo that it's okay if we're remembering things differently. I don't want this to turn into a back and forth on who was right and who was wrong. I just want to have a healthy conversation about how we were both feeling that weekend. And I was feeling hurt and embarrassed with the tone she was using when speaking to me. And she blows up at this. She starts yelling and cussing me out. She's like, "Oh my fudging god, Op, you've gotten way too fudging sensitive recently. Like, are you serious right now? You're hurt about the wine glasses? Like, are you joking? You and fiancé have always been so condescending to me, I'm fudging sick of it. You look down on me and speak to me like I'm a fudging child. But you're hurt about some wine glasses? That's just ridiculous. Remember when I said we promised each other we'd be open and didn't bottle anything up? So yeah, naturally I was shocked and wondering why she never brought this up before. It honestly felt like she was just trying to flip the narrative to put the blame on me and make her the victim of the story. I also want to make it clear that fiancé and I have never looked down on her. We always try to validate her and reassure her as much we possibly can. We have only a handful of times tried to gently let her know that she maybe could have approached certain situations differently. Blowing up on a friend for asking her to please think carefully before she impulsively adopts another animal if she knows she can't take care of them, letting a man who is a complete stranger into her home when she lives alone and cannot defend herself, showing up to an ex-situationship's home unannounced because she needed closure. I try to tell her that I'm happy to talk about those things calmly, but she interrupts me again and is like, "Yeah, let's fudging talk about it. Let's talk about how ungrateful you fudging are after I spent all that money on you and did all this stuff for you, and this is how you thank me? By getting so hurt over some fudging wine glasses? That's fudging stupid." Then she started ranting about how I locked myself in my room the morning of checkout. For context, again, I was not locked up in my room that morning. I was up at 8:30 a.m. getting ready, packing, and cleaning up my room. And I was much slower than usual because, 1, I had a headache from day drinking, 2, it was daylight savings, and 3, the wind was howling all night. I would have been happy to help if someone knocked on my door and asked for an extra pair of hands or to use my bathroom. But no one did because no one needed to, which one of my bridesmaids confirmed. She said no one needed to use my bathroom. And there were at least 1 or 2 girls with free hands that could have been asked to help before anyone needed to ask me. By the time I finished my room and went to the main area, everything was already taken down and everyone was sitting on the couch ready to leave. Mo continues to call me too fudging sensitive, and says at this point if I'm getting so hurt over stupid stuff like this then it's Amy issue and nothing to do with her. I decide it's time to end the conversation, so I say the way you just spoke to me is incredibly mean, rude, and just disrespectful. I'm not going to do a back and forth with you on this. I'm ending the conversation now. I hope you have a good day, Mo. After that call, I immediately decided she was out of the wedding party. This was not friend behavior and it certainly wasn't Mo or bridesmaid behavior. But I was debating whether to give her time to reflect in case she had the maturity to apologize or to cut ties immediately. After discussing it with my fiancé and one of my bridesmaids, who were both shocked at her explosion, we agreed this needed to be the final straw. Later that evening, I noticed she had stopped sharing her location with me, which gave me the red flag that a block was coming, so if I wanted to send a message I should do so ASAP. So I sent a long text explaining that I was hurt and shocked by how she treated me. I apologized for making her feel embarrassed at brunch and thanked her for the effort she put into our friendship. But I made it clear, I don't tolerate being yelled at, cursed at, or disrespected by anyone. I told her we clearly see things differently. What she calls sensitivity, I see as kindness. Her reaction revealed how she really sees me and my fiancé, so I was removing her from the wedding as both a bridesmaid and a guest. I wished her well but made it clear I couldn't be part of her life anymore. She responded by unfollowing me on Instagram and unfollowing my fiancé on Strava LOL, so I blocked her on everything, including Duolingo. I hope she learns and grows because she has given herself a reputation of blowing up on friends and causing drama at weddings, now 3, including mine. And yes, I did consider this when choosing her as a mo, but there was some nuance with the pros and cons that I won't get into right now to spare y'all more words to read. To future wedding couples, choose your wedding party wisely. And if someone shows you their true colors, believe them. If they treat other people terribly, don't dismiss it and think they would never do the same to you because of what good friends you are. One day it will eventually be directed towards you. I may have made the mistake of including her, but I made the right choice by not letting her stay.